All right, welcome back, everybody, to our next interview on my Black History Maker series. Today, I am talking with someone who is near and dear to my heart. And I know y'all are laughing at me because I say that on every interview, but the people that I chose are truly near and dear to me. Today, we are talking with Deonna Barnett. And Deonna is the CEO and managing consultant of Aventi Enterprises. So I will not tell you everything about her company. I'm going to let Deonna tell you all about her company, and what she does to support business owners.
Thank you, Stacy, so much for allowing me to be a part of your Black History Maker series. That's such an honor. A little bit about me. I am a small business consultant. I've been doing this work for about 12 years now, and I started Aventi Enterprises in January of 2019 to assist women and minority and veteran owned small businesses in uh, starting and growing their businesses. And we focus on business strategy and planning, preparation for financing and funding, and government contracting. And we do that through one on one consulting. And we also do that through group training classes. We have partnerships with local organizations where we provide training to them for their small businesses that they serve. We also have an online academy for those who don't live in the local area. They can access the training online at aventienterprises.com.
So, talk to me about the funding, because I know that has been a big thing for people with, COVID, and people losing their jobs and starting businesses. And some people just don't have funding. And particularly in the African American community, a lot of African Americans just don't have access to funding or understand the process of getting funding, and how it's even beneficial for them. I know I've heard you say before that it's necessary to get your business going and even to maintain your business. So talk to us a little bit about funding and its importance.
Sure. So there are a good number of small businesses that don't quite get off the ground because they don't get the funding necessary. And then there are some businesses who start and don't last very long, like maybe 1 or 2 years, because they did not get the adequate amount of funding necessary to run and grow the business that they started. So you can get hurt in small business by not getting funding or being underfunded.
Mhm.
And so, even if you do get a loan or a grant to support you in getting started, if you don't get the right amount or you get less than what you really need, you may not survive. So that's one thing. Funding provides a cushion. I highly encourage people to seek funding and not use all of their personal resources, because that puts you in a very risky situation for both you and your family. And we don't necessarily want the business to be a huge risk for your household. We want it to benefit your household. So when you are thinking about starting or scaling your business, find funding to support that growth and don't rely heavily or solely on your own personal expenses and savings. Now, you'll use some of it, but we don't want to use all of our own money. And so that's where loans come into play. I know a lot of business owners are not interested in loans, they don't want to be in debt. But there's good debt and then there's bad debt. I would say that it would be bad debt if you never plan on repaying, or you take on too much that and you can't afford
Right.
the loan payment. That's bad debt. But if you take on the right amount of debt that you need, that's necessary to catapult this business, and you can manage the loan payment and you can pay it off quickly, that's good. That's good debt. So um, consider funding and getting your business in a situation that it can handle itself. And then also that cash cushion, you need it, especially as a small business owner. Starting this business is a risk to begin with. And so you want to be able to sleep at night.
Right.
And if you're worried about when someone's going to pay you, when the money's going to come in, I'm going to get it right before this big expense hits, you're not really getting the rest that you need. And you need to rest so that you're healthy and you can manage and grow this business. So, funding is very, very important.
So, what about different types of funding? Because you mentioned loans, but are there grants available that people can take advantage of as opposed to taking out a loan?
So there are some grants, but grants are very competitive. They are not guaranteed. Um, so you can spend a lot of time applying for grants and not get any. And your chances of getting cash from a loan might be a little bit higher. But let's talk about grants. So most of the grants that are going on right now are COVID-19 relief funding. So if your business has not been affected by COVID-19 in comparison of the 2019 and 2020
Mhm.
years, then going after this COVID-19 relief funding is not your best bet. There are some startup grants out there. There's not a ton, but there are some like the FedEx Small Business Grant. There's Amber grants for women. There's these grants that are during certain periods of time. They're not always available and they're very, very competitive. So those are available to you. Again, they're competitive and not always guaranteed.
Now, when you say competitive, meaning there's just a lot of people vying for them.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So if someone wanted to apply, let's say someone wants to start a business and they know they need funding. How do you actually help them through that process?
Sure. So first we'll kind of do like an assessment of your business. Like where are you? Are you in the startup phase? Are you in the growth phase? What do your financials look like right now? What does your personal finance look like? What does your credit look like? Do you have business credit? Um, what are you needing the money for? Because there are different funding options based on how you plan on using the funds. And then what do you qualify for? That will then guide us to grants and loans, or which ones to go after, which are best. And then we'll go over those options. Some require something of the owner to do. And then that owner decides whether they want to do all those things. I don't want to do all that. Okay. So then we'll go to the next option and here's what's required of you there. We'll do an assessment. We'll talk about the options that you qualify for. And then we help with any applications. A lot of applications need explanation. So we're doing a lot of explaining,
Okay,
reviewing your paperwork and making sure that it's in the best light to increase your chances of an approval, whether it's a grant or a loan.
gotcha.
So that's how we work.
So you guys also do business planning.
We do, yes.
So how do you, I mean, when people think of business plans, they just think about, just writing something on paper and it's just this long, complicated plan with all this verbiage and stuff in it. How do you make that whole business plan process easy for someone, and then help them actually see? Because I think part of business planning is creating your vision and your mission and all of that kind of stuff. And some people just kind of really don't get all of that. So how do you help people with that?
Sure. So we really encourage people to take our training courses. We focus on business plan development, business model design, and business plan development. And before I share anything else, I would like to say that this business plan is for you. It's to keep you focused. It's to create a guide by which you can follow as you grow and get started. This business plan is really, really important. I've started businesses with business plans and those without. The ones without did not survive. The ones that I have utilized the business plan, they lasted, including this one. And it's being very impactful in the community. I have been able to prevent some financial mistakes by planning ahead and seeing what is before me and what opportunities lie. But the process that we start with is designing the business model. And we do that because people get so frustrated writing their business plan because they don't have a true picture of what this business really is and how it should operate.
Yeah.
So we go through the business model canvas in a much deeper level than you may get in a traditional class. and we look at what your business was created to do or what you want it to do, how it should operate, and the different revenue streams that you could possibly or create from this business. Once we map it out, then we move to business planning because now we have an idea of where we're going with this,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
our company is. And then we dig deep into our marketing planning, our operations, how we need to set it up to do what it is that we want it to do. And then we create our financial projections, our cash flow, and our sales forecasts so that we can get an idea of how much is really going to take
yeah,
to manage the business, for it to sustain itself and to grow. And most importantly, to pay you. There's a lot of business owners who are not paying themselves, and
yeah.
that needs to be in your budget. How much do you want to get paid? And then how much money do you have to make to pay yourself that amount?
So
Really important.
how do you work with businesses? Tell us, how do you work with businesses who are already in business? If it's not a startup business,
Mhm.
how often do you work with people who are already, I've got a business already, but maybe I'm trying to rebrand, or I'm trying
Mhm.
to just kind of start over from scratch. Talk to us about that. Is that something that you help people with, that what as well?
Yes. So I would probably say 80% of our clientele are existing businesses.
Hmm.
And we actually take the same approach, starting with their business model. And a lot of existing businesses don't have a clear model by which they can follow. And so we always set the foundation to our working relationship by understanding the business model of that company.
So explain, when you say business model, explain that a little bit. What does that look like? Because some people may be
Sure.
watching that are like, well, what's a business model? I don't understand that.
Okay, so the business model is the framework of how your business creates value for its customers, how it operates, and how it's going to make money.
Mhm.
So when I ask people what their business model is, like if you watch Shark Tank, they'll say, "Well, what's your business model?" And what they're really saying is, um, how do you make money? So, are you a subscription type service that creates skincare products or something like that? Are you a one on one type of personal care services? Really defining what this business is. Then we can do research on these types of businesses in the business planning process. We can look at the trends around these types of businesses. What have we not considered in this type of business model, and then grow and build from there. So it's really important to understand the business itself, the value that you're creating, how you plan to operate, and the revenue that you plan to generate, the kind of revenue you can generate.
So in doing that, so what it sounds like is you do the business model stuff first,
Mhm.
then you work on the business plan, then you can kind of direct people as to whether or not they need to get some kind of funding.
Yes, yes. And
Gotcha.
then if you want to grow your business and enter new markets, let's talk about government and corporate contracts. When you are into the contract mode, that means you are getting um, a more consistent revenue cash flow into your business by having a contract that is over a period of time. And having that type of business allows your company to become a little bit more sustainable. You even look better on paper when you go to get more funding because you have some sustainability there. With one time purchases, you might get a whole bunch of one time purchases in February, but March there's slim to none. But with the contract, you have a baseline of the revenue coming in.
So
So
that means that because of that government contract, you're consistently working for whatever that term is for that
yes,
contract.
yes. So your sales process is getting the contract first, and then once you get the contract, you don't have to keep selling to that
Yeah,
government agency every month because you have the contract. So your sales cycle looks a little bit different when you get into contracting, whether that's with the government or if it's with a large corporation.
it could be city, it could be state.
It could be federal, or it could be Walmart or Target.
Oh,
or
wow.
Huntington
Really?
or Sherwin-Williams or a large consulting firm like Accenture or Deloitte. So contracts are a great opportunity to build some sustainability to your company.
So what type of businesses would not be able to apply for some type of contract, or can that be almost any business?
I would say the only business that I can think of is like multi-level marketing businesses. That would be a little challenging to get You can't get certified as a multi-level marketing
Right.
agency, and then obtaining those contracts. I haven't seen too many MLM companies get contracts, and so there's another level to the contract piece, and that's getting certified.
Mm,
So getting certified as a minority business enterprise or a women business enterprise or veteran owned, or maybe you are at an economic disadvantage or you live in a certain area that is
wow.
considered a hub zone,
Mhm.
then it allows you to get certified as such, which then gives you a competitive edge for companies looking for businesses who qualify in those different sectors.
Gotcha.
Um, so it's another marketing piece, and it creates credibility to your business because when you get a certification, it's a certifying agency vetting you. So not only do you have to be a minority or not only do you have to be a woman, but you have to have a viable business.
Right. Yeah.
Your business has to prove that it demonstrates success and it can do what it says that it can do.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So that's like a whole that's a whole nother animal right there that
Yes.
we could talk about for another hour, 2 hours.
Yes, yes, it is.
Wow.
But the first things first is really creating this foundation of your business, what it is, the value that you're creating, and the many possibilities that you
Yeah.
can pursue with this company. But we just have to narrow it down.
Got
I meet with a lot of business owners who are doing this, that, the third, and the other, and that is overwhelming. You can't really build systems around a company that offers everything. Although you
right,
can do everything, doesn't mean you should do everything.
right,
So
right,
it's really important to narrow down what it is that you do best and pump that up. Pump
right.
it up.
Wow. That's a lot. And I actually have like a couple more questions that I want to ask you, but
Sure.
I said we were going to keep this short.
Okay.
So if people want to reach you and talk to you more about how they can get started with their business planning, their business model, and just kind of
Mhm.
chat with you to see how you can serve them, how can they reach you?
You can go to aventienterprises.com
Okay.
and schedule an initial consultation.
Mhm.
Those are free consultations, so you can tell us a little bit about your business, what you're trying to accomplish, and then we can direct you to some resources within our company, or if it's something that we can't do, we can direct you outside of our company. We have paid services and free services. So it really depends on where you are, what's going on, and what the resources is that you need. We can help.
Well, Deanna, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you too, Stacy. Thanks so
I
much for having me
appreciate
on this series.
You are so very well. I'm actually honored because you are a wealth of knowledge. We've known each other for a long time. And she's actually my client too. So we've actually worked together, but you're a wealth of knowledge. And Deanna is amazing. She loves to serve. And you definitely cannot go wrong with meeting with her to get your business going. So, you guys, please reach out to her. We will have all of her contact information in the description so that you can reach out to her and get started. I will see you guys on the next time. Thanks so much for watching.